All right, so we have successfully rebooted, and let's check a few things. So let's go to our Windows. Um, let's go to our Windows icon. Now we should be able to see an AVEVA folder and several others. What we're gonna do now, this gives us a good insight on the fact that our software was successfully installed. Again, there are other things that could come up. Hopefully they don't, but for the most part, if you've gotten to this point, you've done some of the best practices to ensure a really good installation. Now, let's go ahead and let's go to our AVEVA Enterprise License Manager. We're going to go ahead and click there. We're going to launch it with Chrome because that is the supported browser. Mm, let me see. Look at that. This says access denied, which is actually beautiful, right? So now I'm not 100%. Now, I've already set this as default, and I'm not sure why it's gone back. Maybe we rebooted or what we've done, whatever. But all right, so this says access denied. You are not authorized to use this page. This is a little freebie. Now, what we want to do now is bring up computer management. Excuse me, computer management. And with that, we want to go to local users and groups. So we see this user here. This is our account that we created with the software. Now, what we want to do is to go into groups. There's a whole host of groups that have been added recently since the software has been installed, right? You'll see all of these AA administrators, AAAA key piece. This right here says AE, LIC, and GR. Let's double click there. Let's add somebody. We're going to add us, my local account that I created when I installed the software. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and I'm going to apply and I'm gonna click OK. Now I'm gonna go to view the users and I'm gonna see who I'm a member of. And now I'm a member of the AELIC. Fine. Okay. This is not something that you always need to do, but it is something that you may need to do from time to time. It varies. So now we're gonna go ahead and access it again. We're gonna go ahead and click login. And it's thinking. Whenever it's thinking a lot, I just go, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. But we're on. All right, so now we have accessed our enterprise license manager. So now this is our server. We're going to be able to go ahead and click here, and this is our license manager. All right, now the license manager is just as it sounds. You're going to be able to manage just about everything in relation to just about everything in relation to your license manager, right? Um, Configurator is another key piece that you want to make sure that you have configured successfully because if not, you will not be able to license your product. Even if you have a license here, it'll say, hey, we were not able to acquire a license, right? So we have our license server, the status is running, and we can see that's our computer name. Now, some of the things that you want to keep in mind, you have the ability to add a license, deactivate a license. You can see details of a license that may be active. You can come here, you can see usage details if there was a license active, and we'll go on to do that in just a bit. Before we add a license, I want to share with you a couple of things. So currently, you can see that the state is running and then also the state is online. And this cloud with the check means it is online. If we wanted to change that because we have an air gap system, we can change this to offline, right? So we can come in, we can go to the settings gear here, and it's going to say, hey, do you want to change this to offline? We can click here. We can go to offline and then kind of move from there. But as of right now, we're going to keep this as online. If you did offline, there's several steps that are needed, and I may include a document that I wrote about the offline activation process. And I might, because then I have to host it somewhere, right? And you guys have to have access to it. But I might do the offline activation process for you. We'll see. Just know that there are additional steps, because if you don't follow those additional steps, when you add license, it'll stay in a pending state until you've done those extra steps. But we are in an online state. We can click servers, we can come back here, and then so on. Before we go ahead and add our license as well, I want to share with you these options. So you can remove a server, you can refresh, you can sync, which will do a fresh pool of information from the cloud, basically pulling, making sure that your state of the license manager is good. Maybe syncing is just as it sounds. We've seen syncing in many different places before. So we can go ahead and click manage. So we have the ability to have redundant license servers. You can enable that here. You can set that here. Set the name. If I had two servers, I'd be able to say, hey, this is going to be my primary license server, and I'd have another one that's going to be the backup license server, and I can set that here. We also have redundancy repair. We don't do a whole lot within this, but you do have the ability to do so. And then we also have maintenance, where you can start and stop the license server here. If you ever get to a point where this state of your license manager, let me come out of here really quick. Let me close it. And this is stopped, and you go to manage and you can't start it, that is a common behavior in the 4.1.0 license manager, and you need a hot fix. So you need to reach out to your local distributor. You need to reach out to AVEVA directly if you can, in order to get that hot fix for the software that you currently have. In our case, we haven't run into that. In our license manager, most definitely is the 4.1. So hopefully we don't run into that behavior. But if so, that we already know what to do. So then we have the license server ID. You have the ability to reset that. Don't touch it, leave it alone, unless you have explicit reasons on why. Grace period. Now, grace periods are something that can happen to your license manager, and it's displayed right around here in red writing that says, hey, your license manager has entered into a grace period, or your grace period has ended. Now, the grace period time frame is about 15 or maybe 14 days. And let's say that your license expired and you had a yearly license and you have to reach out to your sales guy to get a new one. It gives you about 15 days. Once that grace period is over, it's going to put you in a grace period has ended state, which is going to stop you from being able to basically use the software, because it's going to say license hasn't acquired, or you're going to end up running in demo mode. And the grace period can happen even if you have other licenses that may be active that are in a good state. So you have to be careful with that. Also, because some people leave on like 30-day demo licenses, and then all of a sudden, it's in a grace period state. Also, when you think about a grace period, think about what all is affecting your server. So we have certain areas, and it's like, oh, the plant lost power, or everything, if servers went down, and so on and so on. Those things can throw your license manager into a grace period. So you need to call tech support to get or AVEVA, whichever one, tech support, and get a grace period exit code that you can paste in here and apply to keep your license active, or apply and keep and remove the licenses, right? Um, there's many other reasons why this can happen, but that's very common. Also, if you start modifying your software and you haven't deactivated your license, it's going to throw you in a grace period. Like, let's say you're like, hey, I'm going to go ahead, I'm on a 2017 version of System Platform, and I'm going to upgrade to 2023, and I'm going to leave all of my licenses active. Terrible idea. Don't do that. It's going to throw you into a grace period, or it might even lock up your licenses to where when you come back in the license manager, it looks blank like this, and you're like, oh, I had 3 licenses active. And then the reason why you don't see them there is now because they're all trapped in the cloud and you have to reach out to support to get those licenses released. And by the way, they have to be in writing. So you have to send an email saying, hey, I am the owner of this license. This is the company that I work for. I really need you to help me and release these licenses so that I can go in and reactivate them. And then you have to have access to the license files still, right? Because most people, they add the license, forget about them, don't know where the files are. You have to know where the license files are again and then add the license back. Okay? Be careful with that. So we're going to minimize that and come down to devices. I don't really do anything with this, so we're going to just bypass that. We're going to go ahead and click close, and we are going to open our file explorer, and we are going to go to that share file, and I have a file here that we're going to double check, some blocks, and then we are going to extract all. All right, and then we're going to copy these licenses over. We're going to copy them into documents, and we're going to paste them. All right. Now that I know where they are, I'm good. I can go ahead and close this here. And now I can click add license. There's an option here to browse license file. We're going to click this little ellipsis here. It's going to take us to our file explorer. Now we can go to the location in which would have, we have our licenses. Licenses are typically an XML file. If you have a different file type, you definitely need to double check um, a few things, make sure that it's in the right place because there are pre-activated license files. And then anything that is like a .lic is it's a legacy, it's like legacy licensing. So that can be activated here. So this is a 30-day demo license. We can go ahead and click here and come down and activate. Now, while this is spinning, it's thinking, it's just confirming that we're going to be able to activate these licenses. And then we're going to enter into a really good place to double check and see if our software is licensed. So there's a little bit of things that I'm going to show to you guys prior to that. Like here, okay, so now we can see what our expiration date is. We can see our part number, our serial number. It's activated. We can see this little piece that says flex. Even though this says flex, we still have it in the configurator as a perpetual license, and we're still going to be able to license our product, okay? Now, we can come here and we can go to users detail. Where is this license being used? Ooh, here. These are all of the options that we have. These are just features that are included within the license. Let's see what the usage details are. Nothing is currently using it because we haven't launched the software. Device reservation. When it comes to device reservation, most companies in license summary, they're going to have a long list. Once you get over to like, I would say 5 to 7 licenses, it's time to start adding some reservations, be it device reservations or user reservations. So let's kind of see what that looks like, right? We can go ahead and we can click device. If we know our device name, we're going to say test for now. And we're going to go ahead and say, yeah, let's go ahead and let's add a reservation for test. And we can see the total. Now, if there was more than one license here, we could say, oh, 1 or 2, and we can reserve it to that particular area. We could add a comment, and then we can go on. In this case, we're going to go ahead and say add. Once you do this, you'll see you have the ability to apply, cancel, export, import. Now, this is not done until you've hit apply. Now, if you want to make this license unavailable to anybody else, well, really, honestly, what you should be doing is going ahead and clicking this checkout. Now, I'm not going to save this, but you would go ahead and click apply. I'm going to hit cancel. Do you want to cancel these changes? Absolutely, I do, because I need this locally. Now, you can do the same for user. You can go ahead, you can click this here, you can have your username here and check that. So let's say I'm going to say this is going to be for Joel. So Joel is going to check this license out. Now I'm going to click add. I have not clicked apply, so I'm not done, and I don't have the checkout option, right? would have to click add, but in this case, I'm not going to do so. So we're going to go ahead and click cancel and then yes. So you have the ability to do that. This is because once you get over 5 to 7 licenses, and they vary in the type of license that you currently have, the reason why is because your software is just going to pull randomly, honestly. Sometimes it's in the order in which you've activated them, but sometimes you'll say, "Hey, I have tons of license. Like you got 32 licenses in the license manager, but your product is saying it doesn't have a license, right? Pretty annoying." But the reason is because it doesn't have any idea which one it's supposed to pull from. So come here to device reservation and start reserving those out to remote machines. If this is going to be a license server to machines outside of itself as well, you can do that and make sure that you know what software is installed, who all is using it, and then also what all is, what they're going to be, needing to use. Because just because the software is installed there doesn't mean that, on a day-to-day basis, you need a development license on each machine. Sometimes you need a runtime license. Like, oh, they only display the application. No problem. Just put that there, add the reservation, move forward. All right. So we're back to license summary and we're good. So we've configured the software, we've rebooted, we've activated our license. We're in an online state. That's all we need to do. The status says activated. If we were in an offline state, it would say pending activation here. Okay. So now we can jump back. Let's say that we had another server. We can come back to servers and we can add another server, like our redundant server. We're not going to do that because I don't have a redundant server. But if you need to do that, you can take a look at documentation. The beautiful thing about AVEVA is there's so much documentation. So get used to it. Going through it is going to be the best opportunity for you. Because I promise you, sometimes you'll reach out to support, and the only thing they're going to give you is like, they're going to say, hey, we have this process documented. Take a look at this tech note and let me know what questions you have. Not all the time, but if there's a documented process and there's images with it. Come on, guys, right? So we're good. Now we can go ahead and close the license manager and then we can come over here. We can go down to InTouch HMI. Now we're just testing to make sure that our licenses are working. We're going to launch the application manager. All right. All right. So we launched the application manager. You can see that we have 2 demo licenses here. Not licenses, demo applications here. We will get into what this application manager is at a later time. But right now, we're just trying to double check to make sure that our product is licensed. Let's go ahead and launch Window Maker. I know you guys don't know what it is, but trust me, launch Window Maker, or you can launch Window Viewer. But in our case, we have a development license. Let's go ahead and click Window Maker. So this is basically saying, hey, this application was developed in a resolution that's different than this. I have this on one of my monitors. No problem. We are not going to change it. Whenever you see this prompt, if you say yes, it's going to change it for the entire application and for everyone, not just yours, right? So if this was mine and I'm just setting this up for a customer, yeah, I can, yeah, like no problem. But in this case, I'm not going to, mainly because it's a demo app and I try to keep those for testing purposes as the same as before. I don't like to do a whole lot of modifications. I don't save anything to these. So we're coming here. And if this launches, which this is a good state because we should be seeing, if we weren't licensed, we would have seen by now. We wouldn't even been able to get to this point. It would have said, hey, your license failed to acquire. If you're seeing that, there's a piece that you missed within the process, or there's a behavior that may be affecting your application or your software. So in this case, we're just going to say, oh, yeah, like let's choose a couple windows and let's open that. All right, so you guys are able to see what application, not application, window maker looks like for now. And this is a good space. Actually, let's go ahead and go to runtime. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. All right. So we're going to go ahead and say, yes, if we had data coming in, we'd be able to see all types of things going on here, right? We could, all types of things. But in this case, we don't because we don't have our simulator set up. We haven't configured our communication drivers, which we will. So we are done here for now. We've installed our software, we've configured our software, we've licensed our software, and this lets us know we're in a pretty good state. All right.